Hey ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Adrian here. And I'd be lying if I didn't say the main reason I want an excuse to shoot a video is because I got a new toy. So, let's take a look. As you can see, this behind me is my new green screen. Got a really large green screen for the office and studio here, and I'm looking forward to using it. But more importantly, it reminded me of a video that I did not that long ago, and with the magic of keying, we can now do that. So I shot this video right here back in July. Oh wow, funny how that works out. July 28th of 2008. I'm recording this on July 31st. So quite literally almost 16 years to date, I shot this video on my tips to a successful YouTube channel. And I thought it'd be fun to watch this video and kind of see how it applies to 2024. And this day and age, I think this applies more widely to not just YouTube, but being a content creator in general, whether that's through Twitch or social media. And then additionally, I'd say you have to understand this was a lens of 13, 14-year-old me. And a successful YouTube channel, in quotes, was more so about probably metrics and views. At the time, I had just gotten my YouTube partnership. This is back in 2008. So it was more so rooted in that, where nowadays my advice would be like, you define what successful is. Successful may be for you 1,000 views or 100 subscribers, or it might mean at a very high level making a living creating content. Sorry, I had to fix the audio there. So funny enough, this is the intro that used to be on my YouTube channel. This was my main YouTube channel back in the day, the Laker Coolman channel. This channel has since kind of been archived, like I haven't uploaded this in years, but this was my green screen setup back then. It was just a green screen that I ordered online that I thumbtacked to the wall because I didn't have like a proper backdrop or a space. Like quite literally, there's my chair, my bed, my wall that I turned into a green screen. As we get into the video.
This is Tech World Productions video.
This is me.
Today I got a video request
me
from
shooting
a user by the name iCreate
on a green
101.
screen. Funny enough, I can like hear my parents in the background because I'm shooting like in my bedroom.
Anyhow, starting the channel.
All right, let's hear it.
Category and that you're good at, whether it be technology. That's mine, obviously. I don't know what you're good at. Gardening, whatever.
Gardening.
Pick topics for your videos. Get ideas.
So tip number one back then was in terms of starting your channel. So I'm assuming this is more so geared towards like people who weren't quote unquote YouTubers yet, and kind of tips to getting a successful YouTube channel. Whether you have one or don't have one, this is still somewhat relevant. I think the common advice is to like create something that you're good at, create something that you're passionate about, that you care about, and that is still very much rooted in the truth nowadays. I think the big difference of 2008 YouTube was when this was recorded versus 2024 YouTube is just so much more saturated, right? There's just so many different types of creators out there. So nowadays, a lot of the advice is to niche it down, and a big part of that is understandably because like the algorithm, the mighty algorithm that people talk about on YouTube nowadays, a lot of people are beholden to it because YouTube does kind of favor consistency and people who have return viewers and videos that kind of rank highly. And typically, not always, but typically that is derived from people who consistently watch your content kind of expecting the same theme or category. It is why you see a lot of YouTubers fork off and have like alternate channels or gaming channels or personal channels or vlogging channels. I've fallen into the same boat, and this channel is an example of that, but you get the idea.
The 2 megapixel or at the 2 megapixel.
2 megapixel.
Crappy camera. I know they're cheap, guys, and good. And they're not really good to start off with. I started off with one, and I look at them back. It doesn't really make a good impression of how.
It's funny hearing this 20 years later because this quality looks so like terrible by today's standards. It look like a Star Wars like hologram. But here's what I'll say. About equipment is what I was talking about there, like investing in getting good equipment. Do you need the super fancy DSLR 4K cameras like I'm using now with the fancy lighting and the green screen and the fancy microphone? The answer is no. And I think what's changed about this, it is important to have and eventually invest in good equipment if you want to, ultimately invest in having a successful channel or content platform of some sort. But I would argue many of you probably have something like this, not this phone specifically, but a phone that at minimum probably shoots at least 1080p HD quality in your pocket. And this is, and the progression of technology is the game changer here, because the barrier to entry in terms of recording and uploading content is so low. You can use your mobile phone to shoot, edit, and upload videos. If you are more of like a faceless YouTuber or what have you, there's a ton of software out there to record your screen. There's like VTuber stuff going on. There's a whole wide array of things nowadays where the barrier to create content and the entry to create content is much easier with a ton of options.
Moving on. Compile all your ideas and go ahead and make your video. Now let's go into making your video. Get a good script or notes. I have my script.
I want to pause here because actually I think that bit, as simple as it is super important. In content creation, often the people who are quote unquote successful at some level, and I mean this in a roundabout way, are the people who get started. Like, you have such an advantage just by you getting started and uploading your content on YouTube, on Instagram, on, it feels weird to say X or Twitter. You are already leaps and bounds ahead of those who don't create content or think a lot about creating content and try to have the perfect idea. Now, is that enough? No. Just because you upload content doesn't mean you will be quote unquote successful. But oftentimes it is kind of like a muscle or a craft. You have to develop it. You have to put in the work. You have to throw a bunch of stuff to see what sticks. You have to constantly be trying to improve, and you can't do that if you're not outputting things. I think there's a thing in time and place to be said for like uploading quality content over quantity of content. And I think for some that may be doable. There are people who upload like their first or a couple uploads hit, a viral sort of status because of all the right formulas. But I would argue even then the people who do that tend to have some sort of background or creative, insight that allows them to like come to a platform and make something that, kind of appeals to the masses. It's kind of like when you see people who come from like a cinematography background apply their traits to things like YouTube and then find really great success. And it's because a lot of that skill set that they've transferred over to, online and in this kind of platforms translates well, and it tells a really good story. So get creating is, as crazy and simple as advice that sounds, very, very accurate.
Lose track sometimes. Be yourself. Don't hold up and talk really up. Don't be all stiff. Don't be all, stand like this, hold up and loose, but don't be too moved, don't be like a snake or anything. But.
Okay. Yeah. I think the point, what I was trying to get at is being yourself on camera. And I think here is the hard part about that in translating, whether I'm using the term on camera, but this can apply to like if you're just faceless YouTuber doing voice narration behind the scenes or what have you. It is very hard at a fundamental level for people who are not used to speaking on camera or speaking to a microphone. There's a weird aspect just at a human level of like speaking to yourself. We are used to and wired to, talk to others and conversate and have interaction where you get visual cues and responses and audible responses. So you put somebody in front of a camera or you tell them to record, even just a voice line, it can be very jarring for people getting started. And here's the thing. I think a lot of content creation is getting past that. And by getting past that, I mean repetition. You get better the more you do it. It doesn't always mean you're going to be perfect. It doesn't always mean you're not going to be like unafraid or not nervous at times, right? Like, I think the other aspect to this as a creator and to be successful online, you have to get rid of this notion that you are not doing it because you don't care what other people think. I think there is this idea that people go like, I don't care what others think. Like, I'm going to be able to upload it, and like, get rid of that notion. There's a YouTuber that I've watched for a long time by the name of Nerdwriter. He does really great like video docu essays sort of things. And there's a video he did a long time ago about the idea that sharing on platforms like YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, social media in general, is the complete antithesis of not caring or asking for judgment. By sharing out your content, you are asking for judgment, whether you like it or not. Like, otherwise you would keep it to yourself and never upload it for the world to see. It's how you process what is feedback and constructive criticism versus just negativity and hate that you're just gonna at some level be exposing yourself to anytime you upload anything publicly, and being okay with that. And I think the quicker and the sooner you are okay with that idea that you will be judged for what you do, the easier it makes it overall.
Yourself, don't worry about the haters. Don't worry about them, whatever they are. Reality, life, whatever. Online, don't worry about it. Pass them on. Block them.
Pass them on. How wise was I? Don't care about the haters. Don't worry about the haters. I think that kind of piggybacks off my last thought. Yeah. You're gonna be judged doing this thing. One thing that really helped me develop my sense of like, not necessarily caring in the sense of like the content is very early on. Like I was very proud of what I was doing. Like it took me a bit to get there because like as I was uploading content, there's a stigma around like people are gonna think I'm weird because I'm like uploading videos to the internet, and people definitely thought I was weird. But that quickly changed to like, and I also attribute to a lot of like the support group I had with my friends, being proud of the stuff I was doing. Like and to be successful at a metric level, if that's how you're gonna deem success, you're gonna have to get comfortable with pushing your stuff out there. If your goal is to get more views or to eventually make an earnings or living off of something, to get sponsors, a lot of that ties back to your content needs to be seen. And to do that, you need to be willing and able to share it out there. And you need to be comfortable in the work you're doing. Nowadays, we live in a very different age of content where you may not be comfortable sharing everything. That's your prerogative. But at some level, that's the only way you're going to be able to get, and generate views and eyeballs.
Blah, blah, blah. Tips. Now, have a goal set. My goal was 1,000 subscribers, and I don't know why I did that. I'm not going to put the text in right there, but
lazy editor.
Actually, I will do this. I want to thank all of you guys. Thank you guys.
Didn't even put that in the video because I was lazy. Yeah. What I was rambling on there for a bit is about was the idea of goal setting, and I talked about this very early on, like defining what success is going to be for you. But even if your goal, which I understand a lot of people's like big picture goal is to like be a full-time content creator or YouTuber, like nowadays it's a very popular thing. You gotta start ground level. You gotta build the foundation. You can't make a living on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok if you don't have videos to upload to begin with, if you don't have content to upload to begin with. You can't, get the sponsors if you don't have the views. So start small. Aim for 100 views. Aim for 100 followers, aim for 1,000 followers. Lay out that plan because that will eventually allow you to lead up to those bigger goals.
Guys, maybe you can put in your Skype chat daily. And link it to friends, family, whoever will enjoy your content. Link it to them, other users, stuff like that.
This goes back to that point about like sharing the content, right? Getting creative and pushing it out there to these other outlets and platforms. But I would argue beyond thinking about just like the platform that you upload to and hoping that algorithm allows it to rise and so on, to really take to the next step, it's how do you funnel people into your system or wherever the end goal is, right? Like if you want to grow your YouTube channel, then your other mediums and platforms are funnels into that, meaning it's what you kind of see a lot of popular creators do. You have a YouTube channel, but they take a YouTube video that they just uploaded and they'll cut that up into a short form content. So they can upload it to YouTube Shorts, but then they can take that 30-second clip and upload it to Instagram Reels or upload it to their Instagram story. Or they can tweet out a consolidated version that gives people an idea of what this video is about, and then they can go over to the main YouTube channel and watch it. It's the kind of basic rinse and repeat formula. And you can get creative with that, right? I think, for example, what I am doing right now with my gaming channel that I just started recently this year, what I've found a lot of success in is I cater to a very specific retro gaming game collector audience. As a result, I'm on Reddit a lot, and I'm on subreddits that are catered to very specific people who are into that. It's like the perfect funnel because I get to share some of my content that's relevant to things that are already being discussed in the subreddit, and it caters to an audience who is more than likely interested in that topic because that's a whole category of the subreddit. Therein, I connect with new viewers. I get people who might potentially subscribe because they're into that content. It helps boost my videos, ranks, so on and so forth. I'm not saying go and spam subreddits or go and spam web forums. There's a time and place, and you got to understand who you're talking to and when's the right time to, implement value. If you are giving value out to people and you're getting value in return by them just watching and sharing your content, it's a win-win for everybody.
For me, guys, I know my sisters are in college. I get great student discounts, whether it be
Okay.
software or Apple computers, anything like that. And really, most importantly, save your cash, stuff like that. Just
Save. Somebody walked in here. I think the overall point I was trying to get to here, and how I would translate this to 2024 as a content creator, be resourceful. This is amalgamation of everything we just talked about. You don't necessarily need to have all the fancy, coolest, latest gear, and take advantage of what you have. Maximize the stuff you have, and maximize the environment to get the best quality out of that stuff. For example, at the equipment level, if all you have is a laptop or a phone, positioning yourself in front of like a well-lit window, getting a lot of natural light, or shooting outdoors is going to do wonders for your content in terms of quality. And take a camera that might be okay and make it look very, very passable, and allow you to upload seemingly higher quality content at a technical level, but also understand all the different elements that go into your content. It's not just the quality of the video, because you might not even be using a camera. You might just be narrating or telling a story. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the value of the content that you're delivering. Do the opposing side or audience or people watching, do they find value in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's entertainment or comedic effect or gameplay or educational and tutorial based, or are they following your day-to-day life and find that interesting and entertaining? How you tell that story, how you convey it. At the end of the day, all of us as content creators are storytellers, whether you like it or not. You are telling a story from point A to point B. That is the whole purpose of your video, whether or not you're in the category of educational content, entertainment, vlogs, science and technology, so on and so forth. You are telling a story. Crazy to think how far little 13, 14-year-old me has come in those 16 plus years since I started my YouTube channel. YouTube has afforded me very much so amazing opportunities, and I'm very thankful for a lot of what this has opened the doors and allowed me to do. And I think at the end of the day, what's different for me now than it was 16 years ago is, like I said, I've learned that success and the idea of what makes a successful YouTube channel or successful whatever is something you're going to constantly redefine. Having and had the opportunity to have not gone to school and have a content creation business that I got to start and focus on that, and say I got to do that for a good portion of my life, and to a degree in some part today, would have never thought that. Would have never ever in my wildest dreams imagined that. And it's because of the community and the audience and the platform that I had very early on, and continued to work at it. I was never the biggest, craziest, most subscribed channel, and my channels now are by no means anywhere near these massive or even medium-sized channels out there. But I'm okay with that, because the same reason I started that very first video I ever uploaded on the channel is the same reason I continue to do things today. And it's whether I'm making a living or a single dollar off these videos and content, it's creating for an audience of one. If one person finds this video useful, helpful, valuable in any way, then I've done my job. And I hope in some form or fashion that this was helpful to you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Maybe we'll revisit this video 16 years from today.